Coast to coast, blinded veterans meet in first virtual convention. A single photo accompanies this brief summary of the convention. The picture is a head and shoulders view of a lady with braided hair and dressed in a BVA Women's Veteran Group cyan-colored polo shirt. The photo's caption states, Women's Veteran Group Committee member and Mid-Atlantic Regional Group President Michonne Harrison looks directly ahead to her computer screen during WVG panel presentation at virtual convention. The text of the article begins, Blinded veterans, family members, a variety of guests from the Department of Veterans Affairs, and a host of sponsors from both the private and public sectors all participated in a memorable and historic BVA 76 National Convention. The proceedings of the convention originated and were moderated from the BVA National Headquarters in Alexandria, Virginia, but the convention site could best be described with the word nationwide or everywhere the Internet was accessible. Truly a convention like no other, at a time like no other, the gathering of 240 total registered participants and friends from across the country in 5 different time zones featured 42 sessions, including 2 business sessions, but not including day-long Board of Directors meetings, August 12 through 13, and 3 Zoom training sessions held in June, July, and August to familiarize convention attendees with the meeting platform and the means by which they could use the various commands and functions to raise their hands, chat, unmute, and to join and leave meetings. A final review session kicked off the convention on August 16 with a session entitled Getting Familiar with Zoom and Adaptive Technologies, moderated by Brian Harris, Kevin Jackson, and Paul Mims. Other highlights of the week included caregiving sessions presented by the BVA Auxiliary, VA Blind Rehabilitation Service, BRS, VA Research and Development, the BVA Women's Veteran Group, Operation Peer Support, the Government Relations Team, and One Click Politics Chief Executive Officer Chaz Clevenger, adaptive sports groups, and a host of presentations by convention sponsors and organizations that have exhibited at BVA Live conventions of the past. Michael Hudson, Museum Director at the American Printing House for the Blind in Louisville, Kentucky, and now a scholar of the life of BVA's first national chaplain, offered the Father Carroll virtual luncheon address August 19. He used previous Father Carroll addresses and writings to BVA, especially the 1968 address, during a particularly turbulent time in U.S. history. Drawing comparisons to the summer of 2021 and other recent events, Michael spoke to what he believed Father Carroll would say to the BVA membership if he were here now. Joe McNeil and Danny Wallace were elected National President and National Vice President, respectively, at Wednesday's opening business meeting on one unanimous vote cast by the National Secretary, Elizabeth Holmes, was victorious in an election for National Secretary, while Tracy Farrow of Biloxi, Mississippi, was elected to join the National Board as the new Treasurer, see first entry in Around BVA. BVA members voted to pass 3 bylaw amendments while voting not to pass 3 additional amendments. The voting on the final proposed amendment was postponed until the 77th National Convention. For additional details about the amendments, passed and failed, as well as voting, contact Administrative Director Bridget Jones at bjones@bva.org. Of the 240 registered convention participants, 161 were members registered to vote on their own behalf and/or as delegates. There were 18 registered as guests.